Short division with remainders and decimals.
Here we have a problem 2,746 divided by 3. Now, with all short division, first thing we've got to do is draw our bus stop. The largest number, or in this case, the number we are dividing from, goes inside our bus stop. So we have 2,746. The number we are dividing by, or the smallest number, goes on the outside. So this is our number 3 bus. For our next step, we now need to divide the first number by 3. Well, straight away we're looking at this number 2 here, and we know that we can't divide it by 3, so we're going to put a 0 here, and we have 2 remainder. So we'll move that over there. Okay, so we've done the 2. So the next number we have to focus on is how many 3's go into the number 27. Okay, so let's have a think. So we know our 3 times table, so if we were to do 3 times 9, that would give us 27. So we'll put the 9 up there. And because 3 times 9 goes into 27 exactly, there are no remainders. So we'll move on to the next number. So the next number here is the number 4. So we have to decide how many 3's go into 4. Well, let's have a look. 3 times 1 equals 3. 3 times 2 equals 6. Now straight away we know that 6 is more than 4, so we've gone too far. So the closest we can get is 3 times 1. So we'll put the 1 up here. Okay, and because 3 times 1 is only 3, we need to add on 1 more in order to equal 4. So we have 1 remainder. So we'll put the 1 remainder here, which will make the next number 16. So how many 3's go into 16? Well, we know that the closest we can get is 3 times 5 equals 15. So 5 goes up here. And how many more until we get to 16? Well, we only need 1 more until we get to 16. Which tells us that this one here is our remainder. So because there are no numbers left on this side here, it means that we have to write it as remainder 1.
Now sometimes the question might ask you to leave your answer as a decimal. So what would your answer look like as a decimal? Well, first of all, have a look at this number that we're dividing from, 2,746. What you need to do is we need to place a decimal point after the units, as we always do, like so. And because at the moment we have no tenths and we have no hundredths, we need to put in a placeholder. So we'll place in 3 zeros, because that's as many as you're allowed to have. You can't go any further than 1,000ths, because otherwise you might just keep going. Alright, so let's divide this number again then. Okay. So, again, how many 3's go into 2? Well, we know that's 0. So, we then have 2 remainder. So, we'll carry the 2 over to here. Let's cross out that one just to make sure. So, how many 3's go into 27? So, we know 3 times 9 will give us 27, and we have no remainders. So, how many 3's go into 4? Well, we know 1 times 3 will give us 3 with 1 remainder. And we know that 3 times 5 will give us 15. So we'll put 5 up there, which will give us 1 remainder. Now last time, as you notice, we wrote it as the letter R as remainder 1. This time we're not going to do that. This time we know 3 times 5 equals 15, so we'll have 1 remainder, because you need to add 1 more in order to get 16. We'll carry that 1 remainder over the decimal over to the tenths. So this time, how many 3's will go into 10? Well, we know 3 times 3 will give us 9. So we'll put the 3 up there, and we'll have 1 remainder. So what we'll do again is carry the 1 over to the next number, over to the hundredth. So how many 3's go into 10 again? Well, we know that's 3 with 1 remainder. And again, how many 3's into 10? Well, we know that's 3 with 1 remainder. So you see, as I mentioned earlier, if we were to write any more zeros, we could keep going on forever. So this time, what we're going to do instead, remembering to put our decimal point in, what we're going to do this time instead is we're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. So what that means is, ignoring this part over here for the moment, look at this number here, we have to round this number to the nearest tenth. To do that, we'll look at this number here. We know 3 is less than 5, so we have to round it down. So our actual answer to this question would be 915.300 or 915.3. Here's a different example. Now this time, this question actually says to you that they want a decimal answer, because it says 7,425.4 divided by 2. So how do we write that out? Well, same as usual, we use the bus stop method like so. We write 7,425.4 divided by 2. And we go for the same thing again. So how many 2's go into 7? We know 2 times 3 will give us 6. So we'll write the 3 up there. And we have 1 remainder in order to make 7. So we'll carry the 1 remainder over to the 4. So this time, how many 2's go into 14? We know 2 times 7 will give us 14. And we'll have no remainders. Alright. Next number. How many 2's go into 2? Well, we know 2 times 1 will give us 2 with no remainders again. Next number. So how many 2's go into 5? Well, we know 2 times 2 gives us 4 with 1 remainder in order to make 5. So we'll place 2 up there. And this time, because we have 1 remainder, we're going to put a decimal point in there. And we're going to carry our 1 remainder over to the 4. Which makes that number 14. And just like all the rest, it's just how many 2's will go into 14. Well, we know 2 times 7 goes into 14 exactly with no remainders. So 2 times 7, so the 7 goes up there, gives us 14. Now because we have no remainders, we don't need to add any more zeros into our number there. So our answer to 7,425.4 divided by 2 gives us 3,712.7.
Okay, now it's your turn. Can you have a go with these two questions here? 274 divided by 5 and 6,845.6 divided by 3. What we'd like you to do is to show us the answers, if possible, both as a remainder and as a decimal. Once you've had a go, unpause this video and the answers will be at the end, and see whether or not your answers match up with the ones that we give you. If they don't, go back, rewatch the video and have another go. If they do, fantastic, well done. What we have to be able to do now is describe how you managed to work this out. Good luck!